My sister told me I was too poor to come to Mom's birthday. I nodded, while canceled my $5,000 payment. That night, they showed up to find my name glowing above the venue, and the doors closed to them. Maybe it's better if you skip Mom's birthday this year. You're too poor, my sister said, not even blinking. I laughed. I actually laughed, because I thought it was a joke. Come again? I asked, setting down my coffee. You know what I mean? She said, flipping her hair like we were in a shampoo commercial. It's a high-end place. Classy. No offense, but showing up in your thrift store blazer might kill the vibe. Oh, no offense at all, I said, my voice dry as dust. She leaned back on Mom's couch, stretching her legs like she owned the house. Which, to be fair, she kinda did. Everything was always hers. Attention, gifts, money, praise. I just existed to make her look better by comparison. Honestly, she continued. It's just easier if you don't come. No hard feelings. You can just, send something. I was sending something. I said slowly. $5,000, actually. To cover half the dinner. Her face twitched for half a second. That tiny panic people get when they realize they may have messed up. I smiled. Took out my phone. Tap. Cancel transfer. She didn't even notice. Cool, I said. No problem. That evening, I put on my best shirt. Not that they'd notice. And headed to the restaurant an hour before the classy birthday dinner. Not as a guest. Not this time. At 8 to 10 sharp, they showed up. My sister in designer heels. Mom in pearls. Dad in that suit. He only wears when cameras are around. They strutted through the doors like they were royalty. Then they saw me. My sister froze. What are you doing here? I smiled, leaned against the polished host stand, and gestured toward the entrance sign. Golden letters above the glass. Mercer and Company. Kitchen. My last name. And lights. I'm working, I said simply. Well, owning. Mom squinted. Wait, this is yours. My sister's laugh cracked in her throat. You bought this place? No. I built it. The host disappeared beside me. Mr. Noah, the private room is ready. Shall I seat your guests? I turned to them. That won't be necessary. Their expressions twisted. What? My sister blinked. We have a reservation. I nodded. Had. It's canceled. What do you mean cancel? Mom snapped. I mean, and follow closely, there is no table. Not anymore. My sister's face turned red. You're joking. Dead serious. She stormed up to me, heels clacking like gunfire. You can't just. I can, I said. You told me not to come. I'm just following your advice. Then I stepped aside and gestured toward the exit. Classy enough for you now. I didn't go home that night. I didn't feel like sitting in silence, waiting for the messages to start pouring in. Instead, I took a walk downtown. Just me and the streetlights. I ended up at an all-night diner I used to go to in college. The kind of place that doesn't ask questions when you order pancakes at 2 a.m. and look like you just burned down your life. The next morning, my phone lit up like Times Square. Mom, 10:09 a.m. What was that? Dad, 10:14 a.m. You embarrassed your sister in front of everyone. She was crying all night. My sister, 10:59 a.m. You're unbelievable. We're done. And the cherry on top. Mom, 11:02 a.m. You need to apologize. You ruined her birthday. I stared at the screen for a good minute, then put the phone face down. No one asked why I did it. No one asked what led to it. They just knew their golden girl had been humiliated, and that couldn't be allowed. By Monday, I was uninvited from the family group chat. Real subtle. Tuesday, Mom called. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail. I just think it's sad that you let jealousy get in the way of family. Your sister's doing well, and instead of being happy for her, you act out like a child. You're better than this. At least I thought you were. Jealousy? They really believe that's what this was about? I wasn't angry. I was tired. Exhausted, honestly. Because this wasn't new. This had been going on for years. You're always the reliable one. Mom used to say, back when I was still useful. That's what it started as, small things. Picking up groceries. Co-signing a loan, just to help her get approved. Paying for Dad's new tires, because money's tight right now. Every favor added up. Quietly. Slowly. Until one day, I looked at my budget and realized I was funding 2 households. Mine and theirs. When I brought it up, Dad laughed. You're single. You don't have kids. What else are you spending money on? Then came the real gut punch. A call from my bank. Mr. Noah, we need to verify a recent change of address on your premium card ending in 3540. I don't have a premium card. Silence. Then paper shuffled. It was opened under your name 3 weeks ago. Address listed as 41. Briar Lane. That's my parents' house. I drove over. I didn't knock. Just walked in. They were in the kitchen, calm as ever. Hey, honey, Mom said, not even looking up. We weren't expecting you. I noticed, I said. You opened a credit card under my name? The silence that followed was deafening. What are you talking about? Dad asked. I pulled out the letter and dropped it on the table. Mom's face twitched. Just for a second. Then she sighed. It's not what you think. Really? Because I think it's fraud. Dad scoffed. Don't be dramatic. It's not like we were using it for fun. Who's it we? No one answered. I turned to my sister, who was suddenly very interested in her nails. You. She shrugged. I needed to book the venue. I didn't think it would be a big deal. Didn't think? Are you insane? It's just temporary, she snapped. You've got money. Stop acting like a victim. Victim? I repeated. You steal my name, run up dead, shut me out of the dinner I paid for, and I'm the problem? Mom stepped in, her voice cool. Lower your voice. Why? Afraid the neighbors will hear what perfect little Nina did. She was under pressure. Mom said sharply, and honestly, you were kind of cold the other night. I stared at them. These people. My family. Acting like I should be apologizing for being robbed. That's when it really clicked. They didn't see me as family. To them, I was just a walking debit card. I didn't say another word. Just got up and left. That night, I pulled up my credit report. Not one surprise. Not two. 3 new accounts, all recently opened. One of them had racked up nearly $8 grand. Wedding shops, expensive dinners, a spa day at a 5-star retreat 2 towns over. Every single charge was dated before Mom's birthday dinner. They had the nerve to call me broke, while living large under my name. That's when something inside me didn't break, it cleared. Not rage. Just clarity. If they wanted a war, they had no clue what I was about to bring. So I waited. Waited for the perfect moment. And that moment? Grandma's Sunday brunch. The one gathering absolutely everyone showed up to. Cousins. Uncles. Family friends we'd known forever. No one dared skip it. I got there 15 minutes early, sat at the long oak table, and smiled like everything was fine. Everyone greeted me like nothing had happened. Fake hugs. Tight grins. One of my cousins clapped me on the back. You good, man? I'm great, I told him. Really great. They had no idea. As always, my sister made her entrance late 20 minutes, because of course. Wearing some designer outfit, sunglasses too big for indoors, hair perfectly styled like she just left a red carpet. She walked the room like royalty, hugging everyone in sight, except me. Then came Mom, carrying a tray of baked ziti like it was some kind of truce. Dad followed last, eyes fixed on the floor. Okay, Grandma said, clapping her hands. Let's eat. So I let them. I let them pile food on their plates. Laugh. Toast. Pretend last week didn't happen. And once they were nice and comfortable, I stood up. I've got something to say. Forks froze halfway to mouths. Every eye in the room landed on me. I reached into my bag and pulled out a neat little stack of folders. Each labeled. Each organized. I laid them out slowly. These, I said, tapping the top one, are the 3 credit card accounts opened in my name over the last couple months. Current balance across all of them? $12,867. Mom turned pale. My sister stopped chewing mid-bite. And here's the fun part, I added. All 3 were opened using my social security number, but with my parents' address. Some folks started shifting in their seats. And if anyone's curious, I said, reaching back into my bag, here's a breakdown of the charges. I pulled out the printed statements and slid one toward my sister. Venue rentals. Spa days. Designer dresses. I pointed at one. Valana Bridal Studio. Look at the name on that booking. She stared at it, swallowed. That's not what it looks like, she said, voice cracking. You're twisting it. I turned to the table. Anyone here want to explain how I'm twisting credit card fraud? Mom suddenly stood up. That's enough, she snapped. You've made your point. You're humiliating us. Oh, we're just getting started. I reached into my bag one last time and pulled out a folder marked Affidavit, Identity Theft Complaint. This, I said, placing it right in the middle of the table, is the police report I filed last week. I gave you a chance to talk to me. You chose silence. Dad finally spoke, his voice low and tight. You'd really report your own family to the police? I looked him straight in the eye. You stole my identity. Maxed out credit in my name. Cut me out of a dinner I paid for. At what point was I still part of this family? My sister jumped to her feet. You're being unfair. You're turning this into a whole scene. I tilted my head. Funny. That's what you told me last week, when you said not to come. Difference is, now I own the room. She lunged forward, tried to grab the folder. Tried to tear it. I yanked it back before she could. Try that again, and I'll print a copy for everyone in this room, I said, looking her dead in the eyes. Better yet, I'll post it. She froze, shaking, cornered, furious. I turned toward Grandma. You've always treated me like a person, I said, my voice quieter now. But the rest? They saw me as an ATM. Grandma looked like she might cry. And then the twist. Not from me. From the back of the room, someone cleared their throat. It was Tyler, my sister's ex. Actually, he said, stepping forward, I've got something to add. My sister spun around like she'd been slapped. Tyler, no. You want to talk about fraud? He said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Ask her where the down payment for our condo went. Silence. She told me her job paid for it. Turns out, she used his card, he said, pointing at me. And mine. And if that's not enough, he held up his phone. Played a voicemail. Tyler, don't be mad, but I moved some stuff around. It's not a big deal. I just needed a little help for the family dinner. He'll never notice. My sister went ghost white. Tyler looked over at me. Sorry I didn't say anything earlier. I thought she was just stressed. Turns out, she's just a liar. Then he turned and walked out. So did 2 cousins. Then my aunt. Even Uncle Dean, the same guy who once told me I was too soft for buying gifts instead of booze, looked shaken. My sister collapsed into a chair, speechless. Mom didn't move. Dad muttered, You've always been difficult. But it landed like a feather against a brick wall. I grabbed my bag. I'm done, I said. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't ask me for anything else. And then I left. No one followed. For 3 days, silence. No fake apologies. No pretend concern. No manipulation disguised as love. It was the quietest my phone had ever been. I thought I'd feel free. And I did. But also, I felt something else. Anger. Not the kind that explodes. The other kind. The quiet, heavy kind that settles deep and stays. On the 4th day, the silence broke. Mom. Enough, Lucas. You've made your little point. Now come back to your senses. We're family. Family. That word again. The one they always use like a knife. An hour later, Dad. She's your sister. You humiliated her. That kind of thing. You don't come back from. Good, I thought. I'm not coming back. Then came the final text. My sister. I hope you're proud. You destroyed Mom. You'll regret this. I didn't reply. Not to her. Not to any of them. I wasn't the problem. I was the wake-up call. That weekend, I got in my car and drove with no map, no destination, just me, the open road, and a need for silence that didn't come with strings attached. I threw my phone into the glove box, cranked up the kind of music I used to love before my life turned into a donation box, and let the miles blur. I crashed at a roadside motel that smelled like old wood and freedom. The next morning, I ordered pancakes and coffee and took my time eating, like I had nowhere to be. Because, finally, I didn't. No one needed me. And that was peace. But on Monday, the universe dropped a twist. A call from a number I didn't know lit up my screen. I almost ignored it, almost. But something told me to answer. Hello. A pause. Then a man's voice. Careful. Exhausted. Is this Noah Mercer? Yeah. Who's this? My name's Grant Ellis. You don't know me, but I think we've got something in common. He sounded like a guy who'd been chewed up and spit out. Did your sister ever live in Seattle? He asked. I sat up straight. Yeah. About 4 years ago. Then we need to talk. We were on the phone for 2 hours. Grant had dated my sister for a few months, right before her fresh start brought her back home. Their breakup? It wasn't just messy. It was expensive. She'd borrowed his credit card. Spent over $4,000 on salon treatments and high-end electronics. When he called her out, she cried, blamed him for making her feel insecure, and then ghosted. No apology. No repayment. Just silence. Instead of owning it, she changed cities. Reinvented herself. Started going by Nina Whitmore, her middle name and our mom's maiden name. A fresh name for a cleaner slate. Grant wasn't the only one. Turns out, she left a trail of debt behind her in Seattle, and I wasn't the first person she'd burned under that alias. He found me after a friend of his sent him a viral Reddit post. An anonymous story from someone at brunch. Brother exposes sister for identity theft at family gathering. He saw the screenshots. And he knew. I thought I was the idiot, he told me. Turns out, I was just the first. And me? I was going to be the last. The next morning, I called my lawyer. We need to amend the report, I said. I've got a witness. And a pattern. He gave a long whistle. Well then, that changes everything. After that, I called Grant back. Thank you, I told him. You didn't deserve what she did. He was quiet for a second, then said something I won't forget. Neither did you. But you did what I couldn't. You stopped her. A few days later, I got an email. Subject line. Nina, please. I opened it. You ruined me. I lost my job. My boyfriend's gone. I'm living in mom's basement. I hope you feel powerful. I didn't even finish the message. Just hit archive. Because no, it didn't make me feel powerful. It made me feel free. For the first time in years, I wasn't their safety net. I wasn't a financial backup plan. I wasn't a background character in someone else's melodrama. I was just me, with boundaries, and a name they'd never exploit again. It's been 2 months. 3 months since I walked away from Grandma's brunch and set fire to the bridge that had been sinking under my feet for years. 3 months since the legal threats collapsed, the accusations died down, and the begging began. It started with silence. Then came guilt. Then concern wrapped in manipulation. And now? Now it's bargaining. Last week, Mom called. I didn't answer. So she left a voicemail. We miss you. I know things got out of hand. But this has gone far enough. You've made your point. Come home. Come home. As if I ever belonged there in the first place. My new apartment's not big. But it's mine. The couch. The dishes. The quiet. All mine. No one yells from the next room asking for grocery money after calling me useless. No one tells me I'm selfish while stealing from me in secret. I sleep better. I eat slower. I laugh, without checking who's watching. It's like, at 34, I finally started living. Because everything before this? That wasn't life. That was an unpaid role in someone else's performance. And I was just the reliable extra. Not anymore. Then, last Saturday, there was a knock at the door. I hesitated, thought about ignoring it. But something in me said, open it. There she was. Mom. Perfect curls. Designer coat. Smile sharp enough to slice. Behind her, arms crossed like always, Dad. But my stomach didn't twist. My hands didn't shake. And honestly, that surprised me. I just stood there, waiting. Mom smiled, that overly rehearsed kind of smile she used at church or during gossip with the neighbors. We just want to talk, she said. No, I replied. You want me to forget? She blinked. Dad stepped in. We raised you. You owe us a conversation. I let out a short, cold laugh. You raised me? No. You raised her to believe the world would clean up her messes. And you raised me to be the one who cleaned them. That's not fair, Mom rushed to say. We made mistakes. You committed fraud, I snapped. Don't dress it up in therapy speak. Silence. I stepped out into the hallway and shut the door behind me. I wouldn't let them poison my space. You said I humiliated the family, I said. But you had no problem humiliating me for years. Talking behind my back. Using my money. Laughing at me. Mom's smile faltered. I've forgiven Nina, she said gently, like that was supposed to fix everything. I haven't, I answered. She's your sister, Dad growled. No, I said. She's a grifter with a designer obsession. And if you're still covering for her, then you've learned nothing. Dad took a step toward me. You need to grow up. Get over it. You're being selfish. I almost laughed again. You stole my identity. My credit. My savings. My peace. And now you want to call me selfish? He opened his mouth, but I beat him to it. I have grown up, I said. And that's the problem. I finally grew up and realized I don't owe this family anything. Except maybe a warning. Yes, Mom echoed softly. I didn't back away. I'm not the quiet, guilty son anymore, I said. I'm not your fallback plan or your emotional punching bag. I'm someone who finally knows how to draw the line and enforce it. You come for me again? I leaned in. I won't just defend myself. I'll tear the whole illusion down. And I won't keep it private. Their faces fell, not with regret, but recognition. They realized they'd lost control. Goodbye, I said. Then I turned around, walked back inside, and locked the door behind me. That night, I dug out a box I hadn't touched in years, full of old photos, Birthday cards, letters, tiny pieces of guilt. I carried it to the balcony, dumped everything into a steel bowl, and lit a match. No drama. No tears. I just stood there and watched it all burn. The next day, I got an email from an old coworker, a job offer. Legitimate. Earned. No favors, no strings. I accepted. That night, I had dinner with people who didn't expect anything from me except good conversation. I paid for my own meal. No one slid their bill my way. It was normal. And it felt incredible. When I got home, there was a letter waiting under my door. No stamp. No return address. Inside was a check, $12,867. The exact amount they stole. Taped to it was a sticky note. Just one sentence, written in my dad's handwriting. She finally confessed. We had no choice. No apology. Just damage control. I fed the check straight into the shredder. Because I didn't want their money. I didn't need it. And they weren't buying their way back in. Not this time. Not ever.